Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Yinzer Brothers podcast. I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim, and we are the Yinzer Bros. Well, Tim, the 2023-24 Steelers season is over, and here
Thank God.
It was a brutal year. Here we are, giving our takes on the wrap up and giving a little peek toward the future. I mean, here's the cool thing about football. Before you know it, we're going to be talking about the draft.
TJ, I can't. I mean, I agree. I can't. It's been, what, 3 days? When's the Super Bowl? A couple of weeks? What was it? I don't know how long Super Bowl was. A week ago?
It was Sunday. It was last Sunday. It's like 5 days ago.
And you would, as of right now, you got Kenny Pickett in the quarterback room. You got Mason Rudolph. You got Justin Fields. You got Kirk Cousins. You got Russell Wilson. You probably got Ben's probably going to come back at some point in time, have him in the quarterback room. It's going to be a battle, quarterback.
Maybe Terry. Get Terry Bradshaw back in.
Maybe.
The blonde bomber. I don't know.
You know, Ken
so
Graham.
Let's talk a little bit about
get him, grab him out of here at Wheaton. Terry's not doing anything.
Let's get them all. Yeah. It's only in Pittsburgh, baby. So let's talk about the season. Tim, how would you grade the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
C,
average.
Average.
Yeah.
Everything I said was going to happen happened. I think I was off by a game, one game.
Yeah, you did pretty good. I was impressed.
Yeah. It's average. They averagely.
I mean, average. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, let's just be real. Tomlin's kind of like that average guy, isn't he?
I mean, Mike got to do something, man. Got to do something. Yeah. Got to do something.
I mean, I think we had some higher hopes coming into the season. I think that on paper they look better, and they did get to the playoffs this year, which is good. But I mean, we're still far away from where we need to go in order to compete for a championship.
Oh, you watch those two teams play on the Super Bowl. You aren't, or even in the title games, you're not even sniffing that area of jockstrap of teams.
Did you see? This is crazy to me. PFF graded Brock Purdy higher.
I saw it. I'm over PFF. I mean,
I don't. How is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know. But I'm over PFF. I mean, the only thing I could possibly think somehow did Jackson Mahomes' grading get somewhere into Patrick Mahomes' is PFF. I don't know.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, let me ask you a question. 10 times out of 10, if you're out playing in your backyard and you got to pick Brock Purdy or Mahomes, who are you picking 10 times out of 10?
TJ, I would pick Patrick Mahomes wearing a patch on his eye over Brock Purdy.
Can we just say now, PFF is absolutely ridiculous.
It's stupid. It's dumb.
They're absolutely ridiculous.
Somebody has to explain their whole rating system to me because it's absolutely. I can visually see who's a better athlete, who's a better player. It's the same thing with the T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett crap. It doesn't make any sense.
It's gotten out of control. So how would you rate the performance of the defense this year?
C.
And they had some injuries.
It's a C. They were average. Some games, they did okay. They're middle of the pack. I think they were 10th. 10th in overall defense, 10th or 13th, something like that. I mean, they were okay, dude. Yeah. They were okay.
If you were to tell me that they would lose Cam for almost the whole season, even when he came back, he was a shadow. If you would tell me that all those inside linebackers you picked up would all be hurt before the end of the year, and if you would have Mika they lost Mika for what, 4 or 5 games?
I agree. They had a lot of injuries, but dude, they weren't that in. I don't know. I mean, they get a C, dude. We got. What do you want to say? Our schedule stunk.
Yeah.
I mean, we put up points where, they gave up a ton of points to teams. They get some teams they didn't. It was average, man. Let's get you average. That's what it is.
What about the offense? What do you think about the offense?
D. A team, they stunk, TJ. I mean, they probably would have won 15 games if their offense had scored over 30 points a game.
I know.
It sucked to week, 15? It sucked.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it now? I mean, before we put it all in Canada, but I'll tell you what, Pickett did not set the world on fire this year. Did we learn anything more about Pickett that we didn't know from last year?
I'm kind of curious. Like I said, I've had this thought in my head. He played well the game that Canada was fired, And I thought he was playing well against Arizona before he got hurt. But he's got to stay healthy. But he sucked. He sucked the rest of the time. I don't know if that was a Canada thing or if it's even a Mike T thing, because their motto as soon as Mason got in, it was, what was it? No money makes broke money. What the hell was it? I don't know what the hell he said it was.
They're playing with house money, man. They're playing with house money.
But to me, I'm in the back of my head, I'm going, did it have to get to that point? Was Mike T saying before that, you need to be safe with the ball and throw these passes only going to the sidelines? Yeah. And not give Kenny the freedom weeks 1 through 13 to actually make money, to gain money, to show money, to blow money. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean,
I'm hoping they didn't ruin Kenny, because man, that can get in your head, because he looked like a different quarterback this year to me.
The Cincinnati game, I think he looked different completely. When the week after Canada got fired, he looked like a different. He was throwing the ball in the middle of the field. He looked like a different quarterback. I got to see him with this. To me, this is a Mike T thing. I got to see him with we should have saw this year with the new offensive coordinator, because you would have had a full year to kind of say this dude stinks or not. But now they're a year behind, and I can't put judgment on Kenny until I see him with a new offensive coordinator. But I'm scared crapless that he lost the locker room. That's the only thing I'm kind of scared about.
So do you think, is there any way that, I mean, there's no way they can bring Mason back. There's just no way.
I don't think, to me personally, I don't think so, because as soon as you bring him back, it's like any little thing that Kenny does, he's going to be breathing out his neck to have him in there. But I don't know, dude. Who are you going to bring in? Seriously. I'm sick of the Justin Fields thing. I'm sick of it, dude. I mean, do I think he's an upgrade? I don't know. I watch a dude play. He can't win games. He can't win games. In the fourth quarter, the kid stinks. He sucks. He's great seeing him run the ball, but he misses the same passes Kenny misses. The layups, Justin Fields misses too. But he can run the ball. But he doesn't have I've seen him play enough. He doesn't have a clutch gene. His defense was terrible, but they'd always be like a score behind or something like that, and he would choke in the biggest moments.
Yeah.
Kenny didn't do that. He just needs to translate that through 4 quarters. I don't know. To me, I can't see giving up a draft pick or 2 draft picks and then turning around and have to pay that dude $20 million the next year. Because if you make that trade for Justin Fields, you better ship Kenny out and get something for him, because he ain't playing.
No, you're right. No, I agree. I think this is a year for Kenny. They got to figure out what they got, and I know some people are going to be upset with it, but I think that the draft is deep enough this year to for them to get some linemen and stuff.
It's gonna be a quarterback room of Kenny Pickett, Ryan Tannehill, and some guy they drafted in the 4th round, Spencer Ratliff. I said it, Spencer Ratliff. Yeah. That's who they're going to draft.
Yeah, and I could see that. I mean, they're not taking a QB in the 1st round. There's no way.
No.
I see all these mock drafts. I think they just drum this crap up sometimes. I don't know. Do you like? I mean, they're going to have to pick up another receiver at some point. We'll talk about what they got to get this year. But a bow on the end of this season. They did get to the playoffs, which was decent. But they pull Buffalo, and Buffalo turns out to be a fraud too when they go up against. You talk about a fan base that lives in perpetual sorrow. How about the Buffalo Bills?
Oh yeah, I mean you knew they were going to lose once you saw them dancing on the terrible towel thing.
It's true, but they lose again wide right.
Oh, dude, I would have shattered everything in my house, shattered it all, everything that I have in my house, microwaves. I don't know. I shattered everything.
So who are you pulling for to win in the Super Bowl?
I got a buddy that's a San Francisco 49er fan. I didn't want to see him happy because I'm not happy. But I didn't want to see them. I didn't want to see the Chiefs win. But if I hate to say I was actually cheering for the Chiefs because I don't want to see my buddy happy, and I didn't want to see San Francisco get the 6th Super Bowl. That's true. A lot of my bets that I put down were laying Kansas City red. And after that first quarter,
did you do good?
I was going, oh boy, Timmy made some big mistakes. I did okay. The bet that I hit big on was I bet with incredible odds anybody throwing a touchdown pass other than a quarterback in the game.
Shut your face. You got that?
TJ, I thought I was in a dream world. I kept refreshing my phone thinking, how the hell are they going to screw me out of this bet? Like I thought it went behind the line of scrimmage and they were going to say that was just it wasn't a pass, it was something else, and it was just a rush by McCaffrey. I was going, if you SOBs screw me out of this one, I'm gonna flip out. But that was a big winner for me.
Holy
And
cow.
put it this way, the night would have went really, 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 really well. Like Timmy going to the island well, if when Brock Purdy took that knee in the fourth quarter before they went to overtime,
Yeah.
his rushing was supposed to be, they set the line at 12 and a half. At that point in time, he had 13 yards, and he took the knee, and it went down to 12. And he didn't gain another yard the rest of the game. That one hurt the big fella. If the big fella hits that, he's in the island somewhere. He's in the island, and he's drinking a coconut with a lovely mixture of rum out of it.
Tim.
Yeah.
Well, the season is over. We had our shot. I think we learned a little bit more about the team. I do think that they improved. I think they got better depth. I think the line was better. I think Najee figured it out. Jalen looked good. Again, we got to do some figuring out with I think we got some raw talent with our wide receivers. I think we learned about some of the other guys too.
But I will say what differs with me and you, between me and you too, is you like the OC hire. I was, because we haven't talked about that. That has happened. The OC hire has happened. I'm not crazy about that OC hire. I want to see Kubiak get it, but the more I watch the Super Bowl, I'm going, I don't know. Does he have that Shanahan automatically choking the big game thing to him? So I don't know. I'm not crazy about Arthur Smith, but a lot of people are saying he's great. I don't know.
I think I did like the OC hire. I think he was good. I think he's going to be fine. I think that I think for this, I think time will tell. What he does, but I do like him. Again, I think we'll talk about that a little bit more as we kind of get into where we're going to be heading here shortly. But
Yep.
I think you need that solid backbone for the Steelers, and then I think I like what they did by hiring some assistants and stuff like that to kind of expand their horizons. I do believe that Tomlin was real when he said, "Man, we got to do some things differently." I think he's shown that he's doing it. Now again, I don't know how far that's going to go. I think that the offense is enough talent to where if you can bring in somebody that's halfway competent, they're going to go places. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm not, I want to see somebody that knows how to use the weapons. I'm a fan of him as an OC. I didn't like him as as a head coach, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. So I think maybe this is a good time for us to open up the Yinzer mailbag. For those of you that don't know what the Yinzer mailbag is, the Yinzer mailbag is when you, the fan, get to ask us, the Yinzer Bros, anything you want, and then we will do the best that we can to answer your questions here on this international podcast. It's an international podcast, Tim. Tim, what does the Yinzer mailbag look like today?
Got some stuff from the mush. First question from the mush. In retrospect, was the season a bust because there was no playoff win?
I mean, if the standard is to win a championship, and let's just be real, I think we would have been happy with a first round playoff win. I would have to say, yeah, I think it was. I think it was. I mean, at the very least, I was hoping that we would figure out who Kenny Pickett is. And I feel like we know less now than we did last year. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think this season was a total bust. I mean, you got to get over the hump of winning a playoff game. We haven't won one, and I think I may have had hair at that time. We got to do something. And like you said, this was a waste of a year. You kept Matt Canada. You know nothing about Kenny Pickett. You wasted another year on the defense. All they're doing is getting older. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think this was actually probably the worst scenario that probably could have happened this year, truthfully. You stay at a little bit above mediocre. You don't know what the hell you have in your quarterback. I would have rather seen us tank out to get a quarterback or win a couple playoff games, know what you got with Kenny Pickett.
No, I agree. And that whole thing falls squarely on Mike Tomlin's shoulders. He navigated that so poorly, it's ridiculous. And that, I think, I'm hoping that there's some change in humility to him, but if not, I can't see. I mean, how can you put your faith and your trust in that? That's ridiculous.
I agree.
What else you got?
Did TJ Watt get job for Defensive Player of the Year?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sorry, and you can think whatever you want. It's not just that TJ didn't get it, but they gave it to Myles Garrett, who literally disappeared the last third of the season.
Here's my thing. Okay, if an alien ship came down here in 20 years from now, and they're going through the archives and looking at the books, and the Super Bowl's not even there. Say the Super Bowl wasn't even played, and they go, let me look at the NFL awards for that year, and they see Myles Garrett winning the defensive player of the year. They see Joe Flacco get comeback player of the year over a guy that died on the field.
That's also ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
They got Stefanski as coach of the year, and they had the defensive coordinator as coordinator of the year. You would have think Cleveland was in the AFC title game. They were partying. They were eating trees, whatever the hell they do up in Cleveland, eat poop. I think they eat horse poop when they win championships.
I think you're right.
They got blown out by 30 points in the first round of the Texans.
They did.
They stunk. I don't understand it. And then are they trying? Is the NFL trying to just throw bones at Cleveland? There's no way Myles Garrett should have won Defensive Player of the Year. None.
No.
None.
I think it is. I think that Cleveland is always their darling, which I don't understand because they did. I don't think they did. I mean,
Cleveland's nobody's darling. Let's get that right.
That's true. I just think it's terrible to me. I don't know. I think it's awful.
A guy died on the field, and they gave Joe Flacco comeback player of the year,
which is ridiculous. That's to me, that's a no-brainer. Sorry, Joe, you don't get it this year. The guy that died gets it. No, I
would. If I was Joe Flacco, I would have been like, you know what? I got to give this to Marham because he died on the field.
He did, and he's playing again, which is, man, it saddens me because it's just, are they that inept that they can't even see like just common things? I don't understand that. I mean, even when I look at Defensive Player of the Year, the way that Garrett performed, even down the stretch, I mean, is he third? He's definitely not first. I don't understand that.
My thing is, if people are going to just continuously look at PFF grades, you better look at PFF grades for your MVP, your Offensive Player of the Year, and they didn't do that. Or if they would have looked at the PFF grades for MVP, Josh Allen's winning.
Yeah,
not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
that's to me is like whoever the writers are, or whoever votes on this. They should have to publish their votes.
They should. I agree. No.
Absolutely
what else you got?
Crap. Kind of a statement. Word on the internet is Fields is going to go to the Steelers. Cannot be true. Question mark. He asked if it happens, will I have him automatically on the list before camp starts?
Well, I think, and again, we could probably talk about this now instead of later. I mean, obviously this all, again, I think most of this comes from, was it Adam Scheffler that first said, hey, I think this is going to happen? And then you see everybody follows suit. Vegas follows suit. All these guys.
TJ, his Vegas odds went from, they were better than 50-50 that he's going to come here. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It is. Which I just think they're drumming up crap and it's stuff. I don't think, I would be shocked if they pick up Fields because he's not. I mean, is he a more talented version of? I mean, is he more talented than Kenny Pickett?
I think he has more. I think his ceiling's higher.
Absolutely. No, there's no doubt.
If he hits the ceiling, but
there's no doubt.
TJ,
he's got a stronger arm. He's got great legs.
He just screams. I've seen him play. He's like Mitch. He sees one side of the field, and that's it.
Yeah,
but he can run a little bit better than Mitch.
I just, if I'm going to go after anybody, you've heard me say this before. I know you think I'm nuts.
Yeah, I do think you're nuts.
If I were to pick one guy that is available, that you pay and just get off thing, I would go after Baker Mayfield.
That's not who I'm going for, and I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth because I never thought I'd say this. The dude that I would be okay with them getting is Kirk Cousins.
He's too old. He blew an Achilles. I just don't know. Baker's younger. He's got a little bit more fire. He throws a great ball. I know that he was part of Cleveland, and we don't want Cleveland trash. But tell me right now, you get Baker Mayfield in here, and let's just say Baker, that first game they play against the Cleveland. Let's say he just goes up to work in Cleveland, and right there in front of all the cameras, he just drops his drawers and takes a dump right on the sideline. They'll build a statue with him down a strip district. They'll have a statue out right out there.
To me, I've seen enough of Kirk Cousins, dude. You stick that dude into you give him a 2-year deal. Kenny has 3 years left, I think, on his contract.
This is year 3. Yeah.
Or 2 if you pick it up.
Yeah, this
you let
is
it play out. You let it play out. I mean, that dude, that would make the Steelers an instant Super Bowl contender. You drop Kirk Cousins into this team, they're a Super Bowl contender.
I mean, if he comes back and he's healthy, I get that. But I mean, so let me ask you a question. If you had a chance to pick up, let's say Kurt's going to cost you
$40 million.
Yeah, $40 million. Let's say you get a chance to pick him up for 2 years for $40 million, or you can pick up Baker for 25. Who you going to?
He's not. Everything I've heard, Baker, he's asking 35, 42.
I could see going 30 for. I mean, it's what you pay quarterbacks now. You're going to pay 30 to 40 million. If your guy's any good, yeah, that's a bargain. 35 to 40.
I look at Kirk Cousins. He's made Stephon Diggs. He's made
Jeffries.
He made that dude. He's a good quarterback, and I don't think he gets the credit for him being good. And I think if he had at any of the offenses, I don't know if he'd have an offensive weapons like he would in Pittsburgh. You drop that dude in with Pickens, Deontay, the tight end, the running backs. It's scary. It's scary, dude.
It could be. How old is he? Is he 36?
I don't know. I don't think he's that. I think maybe in the 32 in that area.
Oh, if he's 32,
he blew his Achilles out. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody does it.
I gotta see how old he is now. I mean, again, he just makes me nervous. So he was born in 1988. So what does that make him?
Good God, dude! I don't.
Well, you were born in 80, Tim.
And I'm 43, so
he's 35. Hey, guess where he's born at? You ready for this?
Illinois.
Barrington,
that's the only
Illinois.
thing. That's the only thing that's my hookup.
He's a Bear. Barrington, Illinois.
But do you drop him in that offense, dude?
6'3", 205. Those are almost your specs, Tim.
Identical to my specs. I know, man. Looking at some of these pictures I came back from Disney, I got to lose about 200 pounds.
So I can tell you this. I don't want. I've heard Tannehill may come to be a.
He's coming. That's your dude. He's gonna be back.
If they're going to keep Kenny, if Kenny's the guy, Tannehill makes all the sense in the world, doesn't he?
I know. Yeah.
I mean, you're going to need an age backup. I think that you got to let Mason go because Mason has a locker room, not Kenny. So you got to let him go. You know what's going to stink? If Mason leaves here and goes somewhere, let's say he goes to the Patriots, it turns into a decent quarterback. That's
TJ. He's not. He's going to go be a backup. And my thing is, he's probably going to be a backup. If I was the Rams, I'd go bring him into a backup because you got maybe Stafford for another 2 years and see if he can do something. But he's not. TJ Mason's not good. Whatever we saw from him, again, go back and look at his games. If you think the dude is good, his stats looked larger than life than they did because he hit a couple big passes. He's not good, dude. He's not.
I mean, Tim, we're in QB purgatory right now.
I know he's not good though. Neither's Kenny, but at least you don't. At least you could maybe he's still young. Mason, he is what he is. He's in year 100.
Yeah, I hear you. So I mean, maybe
the only thing intrigues me. I don't think it's about Fields is this. I've seen him, but he's like, dude, he's like I think he is younger than Kenny.
He is. Yeah, he's younger,
which is absolutely crazy to me. So I don't know.
He's got a heavy arm. He can move with his legs. Again, his breaking down defense is a little suspect.
He has vision like me and you in the Turkey Bowl playing quarterback. It's like, no.
I get it. That's a big deal. I think we'll talk a little bit, later in the segment about maybe the future. What else you got in the Yinzer mailbag?
This is an out. What are the two? I don't know if we're going to talk about the positions we need later in the draft. Most, I'm assuming later.
We'll push it. We'll push it to the end.
He goes, hey, this is kind of interesting. He goes, a lot of internet stories about how great Coach T is to play for. His marketing machine is in full propaganda mode.
That's true.
If Coach T were not the Steelers coach next year, who would you want to lead the team?
Well, that's a good question.
I got about two guys.
Who are your two guys?
I would say either Vrabel or the guy that was what am I thinking? The guy that was the defensive coordinator we let go or was there for the previous year. The guy in Minnesota now. Huh?
Flores.
Those are my two.
So you'd stay on the defensive side of the ball, huh?
It depends. I like the offensive coordinator guy from Detroit,
Yeah.
Johnson, but I don't know. A lot of people say he's kind of. I don't know what type of rumors I've heard about him being weird. That's another guy. I don't know.
I mean,
Vrabel's
solid.
To back out of a. You had a deal done in Washington, and to back out, I heard like he backed out like on the flight there or something like that. It's weird.
Yeah. Vrabel is solid. Again, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I like Flores a lot. I think Flores is going to be top notch, and I think he would fit with the Rooneys very well. I think Vrabel would fit with the Rooneys very well too. I don't know. See, I'm not. It sounds funny to me. I mean, I think you can grab aspects of these coaching trees. Whether it's the McVay coaching tree or the Shanahan coaching tree, but like tonight, all of these guys, like they're the next coming of the Messiah. It's just weird to me. And again, it's not like they haven't had some limited success, but look at the two that are there, and look who's still standing by himself.
I know.
It's Andy Reid. I mean, he's still there, and it's not that McVay, and it's not that Shanahan didn't have success, but Shanahan seems to have a problem getting over that hump. It's like, for as great as their stuff is, I thought it was ridiculous that they got rid of their defense coordinator. That makes no sense to me at all. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
My one buddy said you got to look at the whole year, and I don't know. Steve Wilkes, I didn't watch enough of the Niners to kind of say there was just a problem all year. To me, I don't know if you're putting up 20 something points in the Super Bowl against, or if and you only Mahomes only puts up that offensive Kansas City, I think only put up 25 points.
I mean, let's be real. If you can hold Kansas City to sub 30, isn't that, don't you just kind of check the box, say, yeah, we did our work here today, guys?
There was a lot of coaching. There was a lot of me scratching my head at the coaching at that Super Bowl with the Niners at the end of the game. They went away from the run, which didn't make any sense to me.
And why on earth, you're in overtime, you always defer. Always. Why would you take the ball? They do that in high school.
I don't know. There's a lot of things I kind of going. And again, it's a pattern. He has 3 he's coached or been involved in. I think one is the offensive coordinator, but 2 he's been in 3 of the largest comebacks in Super Bowl history. Comes a point in time, I agree with you. It's like he could be a genius all you want. You gotta win at some point.
Again, that's why too, for me, and you can keep. I don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of analytics, but it goes too far when you look at Brock Purdy and you look at Mahomes. To say Brock Purdy outplayed Mahomes in the Super Bowl is absolutely ridiculous.
I agree, and it's something ridiculous. And I get it, dude. I agree too. But it's like, I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. He's that guy's like the Terminator. He's Tom Brady, but better, TJ.
I know.
You got to deal.
You're gonna have to get him on a down year, or you're gonna pray his family makes him implode. Exactly. That's what you're gonna have to.
I mean, that dude's 28 years old. You have to deal with it for. You thought they were. If this was the one year Kansas City was vulnerable, it was this year because they had no receivers that could catch. I don't know when they're going to lose.
They got the second youngest defense in the league.
I know, dude. The guy's like the Terminator. Like you couldn't have told me when they were down 10 points, especially when that turnover happened. You're going, that's it right there. They're done because that dude's gonna will them on their back. And I didn't even even that last drive when it was like 4th and 1, 3rd. I'm like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. You knew it was gonna happen. I just go, that dude is gonna just, and it sucks because you have such these. It seems like the only quarterback can beat him is Burrow.
Yeah. Which
is crazy, but you feel bad. You got Josh Allen, who's a once-in-a-generational type of quarterback. You got a bunch of these generational type quarterbacks in the AFC. They're just never going to win because of him.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to coaching, too. I'll tell you what, these guys, they turn into pumpkins, and I don't understand what happens here. Even as great as, you got to give it up to Brock Purdy. He's done a good job, but you got to also understand this. You talk about a dude with a ceiling. He has a ceiling. He could do some great stuff, but he's not the athlete that Mahomes is. He's not the athlete that, that Allen is. There's some limitation on what he does. Now, he's super heady, incredibly cerebral, but
TJ, it's your prime example of, I think San Francisco had a better team.
Mm-hmm. Less one position.
Basically, and that's the kicker with Kansas City. There's gonna be probably a third of the NFL with better teams in Kansas City.
Yeah.
You got that monster quarterback. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But I think this year,
me personally, I think the Steelers have better talent than the Chiefs. Overall team talent. I think their skill position players, I think their defense are probably about the same, but I think talent-wise they're the same. The quarterback, you can't – if you stuck Brock Purdy in the Steelers and you want to – they're going to get hammered.
No, I
agree. Because of Mahomes. Yeah, it's him. He's a Terminator, dude. He's the new Tom Brady. I've lived 25 years of just staring at Terminators in my face all the time.
I know. No, you're right. No, I don't know. Well, I mean, something would have to drastically change. I would be curious to see what happens. I mean, Andy Reid's going to retire before Mahomes is done. So I'm curious to see what will happen when Andy Reid retires.
You know what I do? I hope Matt Nagy takes over and they continue to win. Because you know what? I'm loving it. The Bears, he's a Super Bowl champion. Bears, you fired him. It's the stink of the Bears. It's the stench of the Bears. They ruin everybody. They ruin everything and everybody. Yeah. Matt Nagy's a good guy. They chased him out. Super Bowl champion. That's what he is. Super Bowl champion.
Anything else in the Yinzer mailbag?
We got a lot of the stuff is later on, kind of just asking about draft and stuff, so we can kind of go on from there.
Okay. Tim, why don't we take a break real quick, and we'll come right back.
Sure.
All right, folks, we're back. Sorry about the little pause there. I was telling Tim I had been not eating for a while, so I decided in my infinite wisdom tonight to take my wife out for a belated Valentine's Day dinner at the Red Lobster. We had a gift card, and I ate about, my body weight in seafood.
That picture you sent me, I go, what are you doing? Like it looked like an all-you-can-eat buffet on your plate.
It was intense. I'm having a slight bit of intestinal discomfort, Tim.
That's basically what you feel like that. Yeah. I felt like that for a week straight at Disney. A week really? Straight.
Well, you know what? And it only cost you $20,000. Hey, so you got all kind of discomfort there. You had physical discomfort, you had economical discomfort, all of it, Tim.
TJ, again, I've never felt pain like that in my life going to that place. I think after day one, it felt like somebody took my groinal area and dipped it in sandpaper.
Yeah. Well, Tim, you have some challenges in that area.
I did everything possible to make that not happen. Yeah, I had the workout shorts on. I had everything you could possibly think, and it didn't matter.
So for those of you listening at home or watching on the YouTube, Tim is we put him in the chafer category. He's a chafer.
Oh yeah, bad.
He's a chafer. I would say he's probably the chunky Greek thighs, Tim, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. Like that may be a story for another pod. That whole
and then we may have to up the rating on that one. So we talked about
we would need quite a few likes and some more international folks jumping in if you want to hear that story. Yeah. That's all I got to say.
Put it in the comment section. Say if the people want it, Tim, we got to tell them the story.
That's a story, man. That's
if they want it. So it's up to you, the fan. Put it in the comment section. We'll see. So let's talk a little bit about the Steelers' needs now. We're going to blink, and the draft is going to be on us. What do you think are some of the Steelers' needs? I don't think personally. I hear mock drafts are going to take a quarterback in the first round. They're not taking a quarterback in the first round. They have too many other needs. They want to see what they have with Kenny. Give me your top 3 needs for the Steelers this year.
Center.
You think?
They better pick up a dude, and if I see him snapping balls on the ground over people's head, I'm gonna go banana land. I just want a center that can maul.
Yeah.
I want a center that can maul and can snap the ball. Yep. I would like to see I would like to see Mr. Broderick Jones go to his natural left tackle and them having a bona fide right tackle. I do not know who Dan Moore has pictures of, but he needs to go. And I would say at this point right now, I was going to say corner or secondary, but I don't know because I don't think we have a linebacker on the roster that, besides Eldon Roberts, that has like a foot or a knee that can actually run. So to me, that's another big need. And you need wide receiver because I'll tell you right now, the more I read about this wide receivers coach they brought in, this may speed up the process of Pickens getting out of town. I'll just tell you right now because this guy's a disciplinary. Mr. Pickens, he's going to want to get the hell out of here because this guy's going to be – I could see it right now. He's going to be like, me and this dude does not gel. So,
Hey, we could ship him to Chicago, and Chicago's always got high draft picks, so we'll see what happens.
of course,
I think you're right. I think obviously we need some offensive linemen. We need a center. We need a tackle. I think we definitely need some defensive line help too. I mean, because
that too.
Cam's getting older. I don't know what he's going to be like when you tear your groin like he did last year. That's rough. Ogunjobi has not necessarily performed the way I thought he would, but he's getting up there too. He's 30 years old. So these guys aren't going to be like every down players. They're going to be rotational guys. I do like
Ogunjobi can't be a rotational type player when he's getting paid $12-13 million a year.
That's turned out to not be a great. He's like the Allen Iverson of the NFL for the Steelers. Practice.
Dude has feet like a 7'2" center in the NBA that's been playing for 20 years. I'm going, come on, bud.
It's bad. I don't know. Like, they'd have to see. There's some good defensive linemen coming out. They'll be open for free agency. But again, I don't know. The Steelers are going to have to work some cap magic to get that happen. That's another reason why
I'm not worried about their cap. They can restructure some people. They can restructure people.
Big QB.
TJ, they can
what they're going to do.
They can restructure people and be $50 million underneath the cap like this if they wanted to. So I'm still a firm believer. The cap, it's a mirage. There is no cap. I see teams just sign players left and right. You're like, you have an all-star team. How are you signing all these players? The cap to me is just, it's garbage. There's ways, or there's somebody that's genius of finding ways around the cap.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, it's just part of the thing. I think you're right. I think they do need another receiver. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're just not using Austin right, or if he's just not the guy. I don't think he's the third receiver. And then, I mean, they need a corner, because you can't. I mean, Peterson, he can't be your starting corner on the other side.
No, he can't. I wouldn't mind some keeping Peterson and him like playing that safety hybrid.
Yeah, move to safety, but he can't be.
But they got to get another corner, because 29 ain't it either. He ain't it either. He's the only. It's getting crazy, TJ. It's almost like I'm in that front office, man. They're getting rid of all the dudes that I've ever had on the list. The only guy that I have left on that list is 29.
Yeah.
They got rid of Mitch. They got rid of the punter, Harvin. He's been on the list for quite some time.
Yeah.
And Chooks, he stinks too.
Yeah,
a lot of guys on the list they got rid of.
Yeah, no, Chooks stinks, and he was disgruntled and all that stuff. No, I agree. I think if they can do that, and I could see them picking up. I do think they need an inside linebacker. I'll tell you what, they drafted so well last year. I'm curious to see what they're going to do this year. I think they hit on. I mean, every one of their draft. I mean, for the most part, almost all the draft picks.
I think the wild card for corner, at least, is that kid they drafted in the 7th round. They were high. Mm-hmm. They were high on him in camp before he got hurt. Like he was playing. He was playing more than Porter early on that camp, which I don't know. But he has his knees are made of pixie sticks and in Gumby dust. So I don't know.
No, I think it'll be interesting to see who they. Well, I think they did a good job at addressing some needs from free agency, and then it'll be interesting to see what they do through the draft too. And I think I like Arthur Smith. I'm curious to see what he's going to do from an offensive coordinator standpoint. I liked that balance that they had at Tennessee when he was calling the shots, and I think, I mean, Tannehill is not a world beater.
But dude, I get the balance, and everybody said they had great balance. Dude, they had a generational type running back also. They had a guy that was he was a human predator running in the backfield.
They did, but here's the challenge. He wasn't a monster till Smith took over. Up to that point, you know he averaged a game before he got there? 60 yards a game. He gets there for that 2-year span, and he's just like ridiculous. What did he do after that? He had a decent year afterwards, but you haven't heard from him at all. But
the thing that gets me petrified is, that dude had so many talented people in positions in Atlanta, and they sucked.
You know what? I think, again, you have to have the right personnel to run what he wants to do. So I think he is the first.
He was the head coach. What are you talking about? He had the right personnel in Atlanta. What are you talking about?
He had Matt Ryan.
TJ, Atlanta may have better offensive personnel than we do, talent-wise.
Well, I mean, except for one position.
What?
Well, their quarterback's not that great. Is it Ritter, Desmond Ritter?
But what I'm saying is, if you look at, it's like looking in a mirror. But I think their positional players may be a little bit better. The running back's better. Their wide receiver, we may have the edge on that, but their tight end's better.
Well, here's the reality. We really don't know what our tight end is because he's been a phantom part of the offense. I think coordinators matter. I mean, they just matter.
I hope so. I hope so.
You know what? I don't know how they didn't beat everybody because they had Bud Dupree, your guy. He was down there. He was down there coming off the edge like a banshee.
Big Bud.
So I think we can see some. I mean, I do think you're right. We need some linebacker help. I think we need some corner help. But I think we're further along than we were. And I'll tell you what, I like how Kahn moves money around, and I like Andy Weidl's I like the way he looks. I like the players that he finds.
I did like the fact that they just went and visceral. I've never seen the Steelers cut some people that quick after the season just like that. They were just like, "Pink, you're gone. You're gone." I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's a little bit different, but we'll see. I hope they got to get some people in free agency. I don't know who they're going to bring in. Like I said, I would love, and I don't know if they could do it, and I don't know if I can. There's two factors to it: is pouring the money into it, and it coming from Chicago again, is getting the corner that's a free agent from Chicago, unless they franchise tag him. That guy that they were talking about trade for during season. But he's going to be a $17-18 million a year player. So I don't think, to me,
I don't see
if I'm going to do that, I'd rather find $20 more million and give it to Kirk Cousins and put him in our offense and be like, "Hey, here you go."
So where do you think? I mean, when you look at teams that need QBs, where does he fit? Where is he going to go? Do you think he's just going to stay in Minnesota, or do you think
I think he is. I think he's going to stay in Minnesota.
It doesn't make any sense for him to leave Minnesota because really, when you look at the two heavy ones that are going to need a quarterback through free agency, it's always coming down to probably us in Atlanta, right?
Yep.
Because the other guys are going to draft people. They're high enough on the thing. They're going to draft guys. Why would they spend all that money on somebody, and then when they can draft somebody in the top 10?
The Raiders are another one that's be interesting because I think they need a quarterback, and they could. I just see Russell Wilson going there for some apparent reason. I don't want Russell Wilson here. Can you imagine Sierra living in Lawrenceville?
No,
it'd be hilarious.
We don't need Sierra living in Blawnox. We don't need that. She's down in
Sierra and Russell
Rock.
down in Turtle Creek. Down there on Turtle Creek.
Yeah, no. He's got too much drama with him. I don't want that. And I definitely don't want Flacco. Come on, send him back to the couch. Let him go hang out on the couch. He's fine.
I hope he goes back to the Browns and they have that thing going on all year between Deshaun Watson, who's probably, I heard he's got to go back to court at some point, so I'm hoping he gets another 10 games and have him and Flacco dole it out. Have those Brown fans hearing that all year between those two would be hilarious. Hilarious.
How did the Texans coach not win Coach of the Year?
Don't know. No idea how he didn't win Coach of the Year. None whatsoever.
I mean, you talk about talent. You talk about no expectations. How did he not win Coach of the Year? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
It's ridiculous to me. I don't know. It makes no sense to me at all. And even it was funny. Even through the year, they were talking about Cleveland's defense like it was, like the Steelers or the Ravens back in the day.
No, they were not. No,
they just weren't. I'm looking at something like, what's going on?
The only thing I could possibly think of was like I saw some today that Cleveland's trying to pitch to get a new stadium. Maybe the NFL is saying, "Hey, we give them a bunch of crappy awards. Maybe the fan bases will say, yeah, we'll pitch in half for that stadium." And I don't know. It makes it's weird. It makes a little bit of sense to me. I have no idea.
You know what they should have done? They should have saved some money, paying all that guaranteed money for Deshaun Watson, and kept some money for that stadium.
TJ, I mean, it couldn't happen to a nicer fan base.
You talk about QB issues.
They're in hell. They're in QB hell.
And again, but how on earth are they going to be able to sign these people? They spent $230 million for their quarterback. How on earth can anybody? They should have other guys like me and you on their team, Tim. I don't understand that.
Dude, if Cleveland called me tomorrow and said, "Hey, we got a roster spot in the 53 for you. Go, just put your head in the ground. We'll pay you. I don't know, $500,000. I'd say no because you guys suck.
I would go, Tim. I'd go, but I'd have all my Steeler gear under my pads.
My biggest fear is somehow, some way, as I get older, my daughter says, "Hey, I met this guy," and the next thing I know, he gets drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and I got to sit up in the box like Taylor Swift's dad, dressed up in Cleveland. There's no way. None. No
I wear
way.
my Steeler crap. I'd say, you know what? I'm sorry, bud. Sorry, son.
Could you picture me taking shots of me up in a box in the Super Bowl, and somehow the Browns are in it? I'm sitting there with Franco's Italian Army hat on like this.
I love it. What if she turns into like a Cleveland cheerleader?
I'll kill her.
Tim, I don't think you can say it on a podcast. That's like
all the money's is gone. All of it's gone.
She's probably gonna be. If she's doing that, she's probably.
I'll erase all the memories from us at Disney. There'll be all the pictures are taken down. Everything.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Oh, I can't. There's not another team in the league that I do that. The Cleveland Browns. I can deal with any other team. That team, no.
Even the Ravens?
Yeah, go. I just tell her I don't want to beat Mr. Lewis because I want to keep my life. That's about it.
He is. Did you see him coaching did you watch it in the Pro Bowl game? He's coaching that flag football game. He still looks like he's nuts.
He is, TJ. TJ, he murdered a human being. He's nuts.
That's true, he did.
No one will convince me he didn't murder a human being. They found his white jacket of blood somewhere in a bush. He murdered a human being.
He did. Yeah, he's a bad man. You're right.
I mean, he changed his life around, but guess what? You still murdered a human being.
Yeah.
Whatever you murdered a human being.
Well, I think we got some needs, but we'll see what the Steelers do. We got the draft coming up here soon. I mean, it's ridiculous. It'll be here in a couple months. Isn't it in April?
It is in April. Did you just see today that the Steelers put in for the 26 or 27 draft?
Really?
Yeah, they showed it like online. They pushed the enter button, sent it to the NFL headquarters. You can't tell me that's not like they waited. I think today was the last day to submit your bid. You can't tell me the Steelers aren't getting one of them drafts, whether you're the Steelers.com made a video about it. Like the NFL doesn't have that all rigged up right now. So there's going to be a million people down at the Triangle. And I'll tell you right now, be the season ticket holder, they better give me access to go because me and you are going to be going.
By the way, guys, we heard that the Steelers are going to be playing Vegas again this year in Vegas, which I don't understand. Why are we going to Vegas again? I mean, don't they do that? What is that special?
I don't know. It's there, and I know that because I know we have the third place schedule. Believe it or not, because we did finish third place in our division. I think the Raiders finished third place out in the West. I don't know why we're playing there again, but we are. And guess what? We're going again.
We're going.
I already
so
got.
you guys
like
it last year. Oh, this is gonna be nuts.
I already got the plug in for the tickets. Now that I know what the hell I'm doing out there and where I'm going, I'm going to be 20 times worse. I'm going to be. I don't know.
We're not going to do that tailgate again, are we, Tim?
Heck no, dude. No.
Tailgate was bad.
I mean, the only thing I'm fearing is somehow that game's September when it's. I mean, it was like 100 degrees out there when we went. That it's like 150.
It was. Nah. I don't know if you noticed about the Harrises were sweaters.
I'll tell you right now, I'll make sure that I get there enough time to enjoy that pool because I'll be heading down there with my big white belly and my hairy back hanging out. Hey, if Kelsey's brother can do it, I can do it.
That's right. That'd be shading the children from you from the pool.
I'll tell you right now.
Mommy, there's a monster and there's a Sasquatch in the pool.
I told my wife, I was like, if there's one human being I would love to hang out with for a night, the Kelsey brother from Philly.
Yeah.
You got hookups. Somehow you get deep. That's one dude I would just give me one night to hang out with. That's all I wanted to do. He seems like the funnest human on the planet.
Dude, he looks like he's a mess, man. He's like that guy that'd be in your face. He's like drunk. Going, hey, I don't know if I want.
His story about the if you saw some of the pictures with like Taylor Swift and Jason or whatever the other Kelsey, they're like kissing in the corner that pans over to the DJ booth, and it's a guy with the marshmallow hat on. It's the older Kelsey brother with a luchador mask on. He's just sitting there going like that. I'm like, that dude seems like the awesomest human on. They look like a tag team wrestling duo. He looked like the awesomest dude on the planet.
Did you see so basically what they told him? They said, "Listen, man, this is." He said, "You're gonna meet Taylor Swift. I don't want you doing anything crazy." He's like, "Don't worry, man. I got your back." And he's like, taking his shirt off. And, just
like his wife. Can you imagine if I did something like that? Melissa would have my crap in the front yard. It's like, hey, we're meeting Taylor Swift today, and I'm shirtless, jumping out of a booth, like, hey. Dude, it seems awesome though. He said he found that luchador mask on the ground at one of the other clubs. He goes, I was fine. He's like, I put that luchador. He's like, he didn't wash it. He just picked it up and put it on. He's like, it just transformed me. I'm like, that's the kind of dude I want to hang out with.
Oh, I don't know. Oh well, that does it for this segment. Again, we'll be popping in from time to time. We got the draft coming up. Again, we are diehard Steeler people. We're hoping we piece it together for this next year. So I don't know, but we got a little ways to go, Tim.
We do have a little ways to go. I'm hoping the Penguins do something. They breathe. The Pirates, something. Don't be dead. Spend more than $24.
Thank God for Pitt basketball. They look like they're on the uptick right now.
They do look like they're on the uptick, but guess what, TJ? It's probably not going to happen because it's just the way things are going right now. For somehow, some way, I don't know if I did something. I sold my soul to somebody to get some Super Bowls. I don't think I'm going to see one until I die again.
You may not. I don't know. I mean, you never know. It's the last couple we had. We got them in. You know, they were our monster teams. They didn't win any Super Bowls. In fact, here's the interesting thing: the formula for the Steelers for their Super Bowls. You know, when we let Ben kind of run and gun and do his stuff, we didn't get the Super Bowls. You know what the formula was?
It was defense and running. I understand.
Defense and running. You know, and then he passed a little bit.
But wouldn't that be some stuff? Because you're going to outlive me anyways. If I don't know, I'll probably die, and they'll probably be in the midst of a 4-5 season. And the day that I die, they go on a run and they just win the Super Bowl.
That's okay too.
And somehow the Pirates win a championship next. Everybody's winning championships, and people are going to look at me and be like, "This that guy. He was
he was the one that did it." Oh, geez. Well, that's it for the Yinzer Bros. Again, if you like what you hear, pass it along to all your friends and your neighbors and everybody. We are the Yinzer Bros. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.
Still number one out here, all right? And take it easy on that toilet there, big fella.
Oh, it's going to be a rough night. See ya.